It's become a very popular thing to do. Call in sick the day after the Super Bowl. A record high 18.8 million employees are predicted to miss work on the so-called Super Sick Monday. Joining me to talk about this, workplace expert Joel Patterson. Joel, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ron. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and I'm glad you haven't called in sick because we need to talk about this.
I apparently am one of the few people that have not called in sick yet. The numbers that I've seen so far, you just mentioned one of them, but 1 out of 5 are expected to miss some type of work today, with almost 19 million of them calling in sick and another 8 million who say they're going to show up and work late. And another really surprising number in that is almost 5 million people they say are going to just ghost their work and not show up, not tell anyone, just not working today.
Yeah, I would think that you're going to get into some serious trouble if you're ghosting your work.
Yeah, I don't really understand how you can get away with that. Apparently, we've taken this work from home thing to an extreme where now it's just work if I feel like it. But maybe they're just misunderstanding what their intent is. I guess everybody assumes because the Super Bowl was yesterday that today is an optional work day, and we'll just roll with that.
Workplace expert Joel Patterson joining me. Now, the state of Tennessee, I think they got it right. State of Tennessee was planning on voting to make the day after the Super Bowl a national holiday. Now, I honestly think that's a brilliant idea. Now, I'm a baseball guy, but I can recognize the fact that my favorite sports is no longer America's favorite sport. And if you were to sit back and make the day after the Super Bowl a holiday, okay, then the people don't have to go to work. Everyone can chill the day after the Super Bowl, get rid of your hangover, with some people that probably drank a little too much in the Super Bowl, and then there's no pressure to work.
Or they can move the Super Bowl to Saturday. I don't understand why they haven't done that in the past. I did hear something recently that Roger Goodell was saying that the crowds or the audiences are much larger on a Sunday, but I feel like the NFL is a big enough draw that they could do that whatever day they felt like doing it. So maybe just move it to Saturday and we can skip the conversation entirely.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, although I think that Roger Goodell's probably looking at the tradition, being that 57 Super Bowls have all been falling on a Sunday, and I doubt very seriously if he wants to be the guy that's going to break that tradition. That being said, if you're going to be calling in sick today, or if you're just not even going to show up for work, you probably need to stay off social media, because bosses could bust the sick employees who are dumb enough to post photos of themselves shopping at the mall or doing something other than working.
Yeah, that seems to come up every year. And one of the things that confuses me about that is most companies these days don't really have sick days versus days off. It's kind of all just PTO for most organizations now. And so why people continue to call in sick as opposed to just taking the day off and setting themselves up for, well, I did just post something on social media that shows that I'm out at the mall or I'm actually at the park or whatever. It becomes a bit of a contest. If you hear that somebody's sick, other employees are all of a sudden looking, oh, well, let's just make sure that they really are. And you don't necessarily want that either. That's not good for your culture when you've got people that are definitely trying to undermine the other ones. But it's also not good if you're being a little bit dishonest about what you're really taking the day off for. So I just encourage people to just be honest. Take the day off before the weekend even starts, or go to work. It's pretty simple. I don't think you need to be too deceptive about it these days.
Joel Patterson is a workplace expert. He heads up the Vested Group, a firm that is always on the best places to work list. And Joel, to your point, I know there were a number of my friends that decided that they would take today off, but they did it the right way, where they gave their boss a week or two in advance saying, hey, I'm going to take this particular day off, use it as a vacation day or whatever. And if I suppose if you do that, giving your boss a week or two to know that you're going to be taking that time off, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem at all. And, as I was kind of preparing for this conversation, too, I think the even funnier thing that is out there is just the reasons that people come up with outside of the Super Bowl to not go to work. I saw one a little bit ago. Somebody said they'd accidentally gotten on a plane. Somebody got stuck in a blood pressure machine at the grocery store and couldn't get out. I'm not sure who even comes up with these things, but they're almost as entertaining. I mean, that's real work right there, coming up with a real good excuse that is creative and unique. If they just use that time and effort to maybe just do their job, they wouldn't have to get as creative and unique with their excuses, but people clearly do it.
Hey, the malfunctioning blood pressure thing, that's real, okay? And, nobody wants to go to work with that contraption hung onto your arm. I say that tongue in cheek, obviously.
Every time I walk by one of those in the pharmacy, I steer clear.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. With my luck, it's going to be grabbing me like a vice, and then I'm going to have the fire department get my arm out of that contraption. Joel, thank you so very much for coming on board. I really, really do appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, Ron. Take care.